I really think the game that I'm about to talk about is arguably the best game in the franchise so far, but it is definitely not the best Bond game in the franchise. Here's what I mean about that. This is Goldeneye Rogue Agent. Don't go away. First things to note, look at this cover, okay? Look at it. To me, this is like the most intriguing cover of all the Bond games. And once I describe the story, the cover will make a lot more sense. And yes, I'm going to start to talk about the story off spawn. Extremely rare, because every Bond game has a pretty cookie cutter story that is enjoyable, but I don't think anyone ever is going to talk about a Bond game being good story in the GameCube, Nintendo 64 era, right?
Goldeneye Rogue Agent. Rated T for teen.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Well, get ready for this, because I wasn't. In Goldeneye Rogue Agent, you are not playing as James Bond. You start the game in what I believe is sort of like a job interview. You're on this mission with Bond. Bond dies. Did Bond just die? It's like, oh, that's crazy, that's crazy. All of a sudden, you're brought out of the simulation training, which is where I believe this is like a job interview to be in MI6. And Moneypenny's like, yeah, you let Bond die, even though, by the way, this is hilarious. Bond died on his complete own whim. So we're gonna have to let you go, you're fired.
Excusable. There's no place at MI6 for an agent like you. You're dismissed.
What? So you, this rogue agent, walks out and are recruited immediately by the villain side. Yes, you play as the villain in this game. Now, I will say, from here on out, the rest of the story isn't really nothing to talk about at all, but the premise itself is unique by itself. I think it's a really cool premise. But gameplay. There's one major thing here for gameplay that quite literally makes this game, and it's on the back of the cover. Utilize over 100 different weapon combinations through the independently triggered dual-wield weapon system. This is one of the most fun and creative weapon systems that I've seen. And it is completely free flow. There are weapons that are two-handed, like the a really good assault rifle, or the RPG, or the death machine. But the majority of weapons, like the SMGs, the pistols, the shotguns, you can freehand them any way you want. You could have two shotguns. You could have two pistols. You have two SMGs. You could have an SMG and a pistol. You have a shotgun and an SMG. Wait, I could just dual weld these two? Is this for real? Oh my god, it's real. This makes combat so much fun. There's only one problem. This Bond game has the worst weapon variety ever. I know the back of the cover says utilize over 100 different combos, but with the way math works, you can get there pretty quick. Here's all the weapons in the entire game. You have, other than your starting pistol, one pistol, one SMG, one shotgun, one assault rifle, one sniper, one RPG, and then you have your semi-unique weapons, such as, and I will say these are cool, you have the proximity mines are now turned into a gun. You also have this sleep dart gun, and you also have this gun that is an instant kill that vaporizes your enemies that I hate, and I'll talk about that later. But I'm not kidding you when I say that the weapon variety in here sucks. The only thing that I genuinely think that this game did better on weaponry than everything else is grenades. The grenades are very useful in this game and very fun to use. Other than that, these weapons are really bad. And the only thing that saves them is the dual weld weapon system. I can't imagine if you had like 2 weapons per category of assault rifle, shotgun and stuff. That would be insane. The best weapon in the game, though, in my opinion, is the one I haven't talked about yet, which is this one. Yeah, it can shoot through walls. And you might be wondering, how the hell did I just see that guy through the wall? Well, this is the transition into gadgets, and how Goldeneye Rogue Agent actually has the best use of gadgets in any Bond game to date. Four gadgets, each utilized by the D-pad system, and they slowly recharge over time. Each gadget has a different cost to use. The most basic one is see-through walls, extremely useful. The second one you get is block bullets. Yeah, straight up block bullets. The third one you get is hack, which is, you know, it's super standard for hack. but you can't use it to hack enemy weapons. And the fourth one you get is what I like to call telekinesis. They called it like fucking magnet wave or some dumb shit. What it actually is telekinesis, because you just look at a guy and you fling him whichever direction you want. And the thing I like about this entire combat system is how much of a flow you can get into. Like, flipping between and switching between weapons and gadgets on the fly is extremely fun and extremely clean. There is zero clunkiness in this game. And for a GameCube game, that's really good. What did I hit? But Rogue Agent Goldeneye here has some drawbacks, okay? Level design sucks. Not just the way the levels are designed, like blueprint-wise, but the way they look as well. I think by far the most uninteresting level designs I've seen to date. And while I am talking about how this game kind of looks, I'm going to slide into the presentation side of things and talk about, well, something that I think is arguably the worst thing I've ever seen. Somehow, what I'm about to talk about passed every Q&A, every testing this game had, and made its way through to the final edit that was shipped out. What I'm talking about, and you won't even believe it when I say this, unless you've already noticed it on screen. What I'm talking about is the fact that the reticle isn't centered. The reticle is like the high point of the screen. This was so unbelievable to me. I actually thought my game was broken. I thought I had my aspect ratio was off or some weird stuff. And this also affects scopes. Like, this is how a scope looks in game. And I was so confused. Is this how it's supposed to look? It looks like the top part of my screen is cut off. That I had to look up gameplay of Rogue Agent in the middle of me playing and see if anyone else has this same thing. It looks the same on everyone else's screen. So it's actually insane. What? Okay. Big test. How does the sniping go in this game? Dude, why is... There's something wrong. Like... There's nothing I could do. Is silence true? I'm gonna look up, like, video of this. Rogue Agent GameCube gameplay. Yeah, no, that's just how it looks. Wow. Okay, I just looked up a video to make sure that this is how the sniper's supposed to look. I don't understand. Like the reticle, I don't know. I will say this only affects you for the first like 2 hours of this game because I've never played a shooter game where the reticle was at the top of the screen. So you do eventually get used to it. But everything else for presentation is totally average. You know, the music is totally average, but nothing I could really highlight or talk home about. Nothing I could really say was missing either. Voice acting is pretty good here, honestly. The guy you play as, your Rogue Agent, is mute. He's a non-voiced main character. But some of the side characters, I do really like their voices. So really, presentation here isn't really that impressive at all for Rogue Agent. But hey, the intro's kind of cool.
What he took from you, the rewards will be great. An eye for an eye.
Kind of a sick intro. Overall impact. So to me, GoldenEye Rogue Agent, is it the best Bond game? Hell no. Is it the best game, though, in the series? There's a difference there, in my opinion. This game is quite literally just barely a Bond game. Like, I actually believe wholeheartedly that they titled this GoldenEye for the sales, like just based off the title. What it boils down to me, is the fact that I've always believed that GameCube games are split into two categories. 10% of GameCube games, I would say, are actually really, really good and can stand the test of time. 90% of GameCube games, though, other than the ones that are pure up, just bugged out garbage, fall into the category of very simple, but hopefully very fun. And that's what GoldenEye Rogue Agent is to me. Apart from the lack of variety in weapons, which is honestly a huge hindrance, I had really, truly a huge amount of fun with this game.
My name is Pussy Galore.
Hell no, that's your name. Like something I haven't even talked about yet. I actually can't believe I haven't talked about this yet. There's a hostage system here. If you walk up to a guy and just punch him, you can grab him hostage and use him as a meat shield against other enemies. And this is, you can use this a lot whenever you want. So that's really fun, but you also tip the scales the other way because of the fact that, remember when I said I'll talk about that specific deleting a vaporizer gun later? This is later. So there's a gun in the final level you get to pick up. I don't even remember its name. If a single bullet touches an enemy though, he's vaporized, he's dead. The counter to this, because that sounds OP as hell, right? The counter to this is that the auto aim is turned off. And that's actually kind of a big thing. But here's the thing. The auto aim is not turned off for the enemies. So if you get shot by a single pixel of a single bullet, you instantaneously die. No way it touched me, dog. So yeah, my closing case on Goldeneye Rogue Agent is a pretty interesting one, honestly. I can't deny the fact that I had a ton of fun with this game. That's just something you can't deny. But it's also a game that has the absolute worst variety of any 007 game I've played thus far, even though it does have arguably the best unique story premise of all the Bond games so far. It has that seamless, creative, unique combat with the dual-wield weapon system and everything else involved, but the lack of variety, again, hinders it because later on, it just feels like there's nothing new. So really, I think over time, I'll have a more cemented idea of, is Goldeneye Rogue Agent the best I've played in the series? Because truly, right now at the moment, I do not know. It's really a toss-up between this one and Everything or Nothing for me. But what I can do now is give this game a score. I'm looking at a 7.5 out of 10. So that's it. Well, it's a good thing I center my videos, because imagine you're watching this and it looks like this. Because this is what Goldeneye kind of looks like. In all seriousness, the time is ticking until First Light comes out. I think it's like 15 days from this day of recording, something like that. I still have From Russia with Love as the last GameCube game to play. So hopefully I can get it all done in time for First Light. For now, I'm your host, Beneath the Mask. I hope you enjoy this review. Peace out. Oh my god, that's just too good, man. I know you're here to find out the Easter egg soundtrack that I put in at the end of every video, but did you know that I have a Buy Me a Coffee page? A page where you can donate to your favorite YouTube creator. Half of the money that's donated to that page is personally donated back to Child's Play Charity, a charity that's dedicated to supplying games and technology to children in hospitals around the world. So that's that. Did you guess the soundtrack?